Hello everyone, Brucey Wayne here at Gotham Collections. Very special video for you once again. It's Comic Book Wednesday tomorrow, so I hope everyone's preparing to run to the comic book shop tomorrow morning. I hope everyone's got their sneakers ready. Hopefully it's not raining. Bring a fucking umbrella if you have to, but you're going to want to run to the comic book store. Or perhaps maybe you don't. We'll find out here on this latest weekly episode. We'll be talking about a few books I picked up just today, and then followed by a little rant about the comic book bubble. I've been getting a few comments lately, a lot of people talking about the comic book bubble. We'll see what they're saying and what I have to say about it, and hopefully I'd like to hear more of your comments as well about what you think. Then we're going to follow it up with a book that Biscuit and I recommend, and we think you should get it now while you still can. There's some potential with this one. There's potential and some questions for the book as well. A lot of people don't seem to have any answers. We've asked quite a few people and nobody seems to know. So perhaps you know and you could pass that along to us. Anyway, so we'll have that pick. And then of course we'll have our weekly pick for our contest for Speculator of the Universe. Who is the greatest comic book speculator in the universe? We will find out who's in first place and what those picks are from myself and the investigative reporting team. Everyone's here with a pick, so it's going to be a dandy. All right, let's move along here. So I was in the town near this particular shop. Very nice shop. The owner is absolutely very, very nice person. You just can't help but want to purchase your books from them because they are such nice people and very welcoming as soon as you get in the shops. You don't get that a lot in most shops. So we got, where did we get to? So I was in the area and I'm continuing my trend with perverted Archie covers because they seem to be a mild demand for them, and they're just so cheap. And pictures of cartoon girls in bikinis is not a terrible thing to look at, for sure. There's worse out there. I don't know. I just, for some reason, I find it fun collecting this crap. So let's just take a peek. Some of these are actually worth $20 or more in mint condition. So it did well. These are all $2. So when I see them swimsuit covers, because for some reason that's the ones people want. When I see those, and then I see Canadian price variants of the Archies, and I grab them. Plain and simple. So let's just take a look at here. This made me think too, some of these books are considered valuable because they're a little bit risque, which kind of furthers my theory that I've made previously many times, is that these hot girly incentive covers that you see all the time in comic books, I think eventually those are going to fade away. Mainly because I'm sure there's people out there that cannot sleep at night because of them, and how they think they're wrong and yabba dabba do, and they can't move on with their lives until they're eradicated. So that's why I don't think it's worthwhile collecting those covers, because they're just eventually they're just not going to be around, and the generation's changing. We're not as perverted as we once were, I suppose. But anyway, yeah, so what we have here, we have Archie's Pals and Gals, number 135. So we got a couple of beauties there in their bikinis frolicking around in the water. So for some, that makes this valuable, I guess. And then here we are, we have all kinds. We have Veronica. She's looking really angry, and she's wearing a beautiful bathing suit, and this other girl here that Archie's looking at. Yeah, so these seem to be the trend in all these. She's actually looking at other girls, and the other girl is getting pissed off. So here's another one. Yep. Here's another one. This one's bikini in school. Gotta love that. I wish they wore bikinis in class back in my day. Pretty nice. So Archie's getting a power Woody again. We got some beautiful girls on the wharf here, ready to. Who knows what they're going to do, but Archie's pretty excited. He can't even stand up. If you can see, he's just got a power wood there. Another one, oh, they're wearing hats this time with their bikinis, so looking very nice. Beautiful. Beautiful girls. Lovely, lovely. Here's a Sabrina teenage witch in a bikini and her friends frolicking around, getting their feet wet. Yes, good times, good times. And then the last one here is the Summer Fun. This one's worth about $30. So, yeah, Betty and Veronica, Summer Fun. Veronica's sitting, yeah, they're having a good time. And her father's pissed off because she's wearing basically a G-string. Yeah, what can you do? I believe this is a CPV too, so kind of like that. So there you have. That's what I picked up today. Nothing too exciting. Also picked up some Hawk Girl stuff, but I'll show you that another time because not too many people know much about the Hawkman books. So yeah, that's exciting. All right, so here's the book that Biscuit and I recommended. I recommended it a couple of weeks ago, and now Biscuit's on board too. So we both recommend this book. We've both been trying to figure out who the fuck this is, and there's just no answer to it. You've seen it before. These books are just slightly creeping over cover value all of a sudden. It was mentioned in Jim Comics, so you have that going for you, but he didn't know what the fuck it was either. Nobody knows. But anyway, it looks like a demo goblin, but it's a female. So if you Google it, there are no female demo goblins in the Marvel universe that we know of. So this could very well be out of nowhere, out of the park, first appearance of somebody we just don't know yet. So it might just be an artist decided to draw this and Marvel said, hey, yeah, fuck it, put it on the cover. Or it could actually be significance to this. With that said, most people don't like this cover because it's not the beautifulest lady in the world, and she's got a rather long tongue with a point at the end of it. So yeah, so not too many people I think like the cover, but who cares? It's a book that could be worth something down the road because it is the first appearance on a cover, and it's kind of nobody knows about it. So this is something you should get. It's the Young Guns variant of Absolute Carnage #1. So yes, grab that one. Alright, so let's talk about the bubble rant. I'm going to do this as quick as possible. Everyone's saying there's a bubble is going to burst. That means no one's going to buy comic books anymore and values are going to plummet. Now, if I remember correctly, in 1990, that's what basically happened. The bubble busted. However, I don't recall ever, for 1 second, the books going down in value. Yeah, maybe the modern ones tanked, or the ones with millions of copies, but they may not have gone up in value for the next 10 years after the 90s, but they certainly held their value, and collectors were still around. They just weren't buying the 1990s Marvel crap or the DC crap, and they just basically had enough. And because of Diamond distributing, basically forcing these comic shops to buy way too many copies of shit that they didn't even want to buy, they went under. So, yeah. So it's mainly, I believe, that the comic bursted in the 90s. The shops went under, but the collecting, they are still around. People are still paying big bucks for the big boy books. So that's basically what I'm saying. I'm sure the industry itself might be fucked, but I don't think collectors will be. Our generation's still around. We'll be around for the next 20, 30 years. So I think in that time span we should be good. But after that, yeah, there could be trouble because I don't care what anybody says. Kids are not reading this shit. They're not going out and buying it, mainly because they can't afford it. I mean, holy shit, it's expensive. When we were kids, we were buying handfuls of books and, excited about reading the next issue. These kids today don't give a fuck. They really don't. Mommy or daddy might buy them an issue or something and they get excited about that. But, that's really about it. So anyway, about the bubble. So yes, apparently one of our viewers said he's been analyzing comic house auctions and people are paying less and less and less. I definitely haven't seen that at all on eBay. They just keep going up and up and up. But he has been noticing that on the other auctions and whatnot. And then there's also the people afraid of the burst because of comic book fatigue. And that I do believe in. I don't think there's very much interest in the Phase 4. There might be in the comic book reading community, but other than that, honest to God, I don't really think anybody gives a flying fuck about the Tai Chi guy coming out and the female Thor. You know, everyone I talk to that doesn't read comics or really care about comics but still watch those movies. A, they don't even know it's coming out, and B, they're like, who and why and who gives a fuck, you know? So yeah, I think that kind of crap is not going to help the comic book industry. But I think if it does bust, we're going to see some good things come out of it, honestly, and that's, you know, prices might dip, so actual collectors might get a good deal on books. I don't see that happening because I feel when people pay big money for books, they don't want to get rid of them for less money. They just hang on to it till they die. So I think that's what's probably going to happen. And then I think because of these movies coming out, I think that will force the next generation of comic book movies to be better quality. Yes, they look absolutely stunning. You know, they'll entertain you for 2 hours and whatnot, but they are not, you know, Oscar caliber. And I think that's what we need. We need movies to be thought as masterpieces instead of, oh, that was fun, whatever, I spent $20, I got nothing better to do, I love popcorn, blah, blah, blah. I think that's really all we're catering to, just people who want something visually stunning, and really that's all that fucking matters. But that's going to change, and I think the Joker, the movie, is going to help with that. It's already, people are saying it's going to win Oscars and international awards like that, so that hopefully will make these movies taken more seriously, and might be good for DC. And that's another thing about the bubble rant. DC is having problems, so financially apparently, so they're scaling back their books. Scaling back books is excellent. I think that is exactly what we fucking need for this industry. We need less titles, we need better quality. We don't need 50 million tie-ins and crossovers and blah blah blah, this absolute carnage poop, whatever. It might be a great read, but holy Christ, you're forcing people to spend hundreds of dollars to read this crap. I mean, it's a 20-page book or whatever with fucking 30 words in it. Like, come on, you can't expect people to spend hundreds of dollars to read this. And it's some do, don't get me wrong, but a lot of people are avoiding this stuff because of the price and the 50 million covers and blah, 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 blah. So if anything kills the comic book collecting bubble, it's, you know, Marvel and DC themselves that are killing it, honestly. It's nothing more, nothing less. It's just plain and simple. They're just creating it a huge pain in the ass for collectors, and we just don't have the money for this shit. And most of us are old guys, and most of us are quite embarrassed we buy it in the first place, but to spend this much money, and then we go home and our wives are like, holy fuck, you spent this much money on blah blah blah, and then it's just not worth the hassle. So comic book bubble, what do you think? Is it going to happen soon? Is it going to happen later? Are all our books going to be absolutely worthless? I would love to hear from you. Please let us know. All right, so let's go to the who is the best speculator in the universe of comic books. Well, there's a new leader. Yes, it is. And you can thank Supergirl. Last week, Brucey Wayne picked the Supergirl recall. Brad came in second place for last week with the Superman recall. But the Supergirl went up a little bit more. The Superman seems to be hovering at around $40, and the Supergirl is around $65. So that's the beauty of buying a book that's only $5 when it comes out, because it goes from $5 to $65. That's an absolute grand slam. Now, a lot of people say, well, my book was, you know, $200 now. It was $100, so that's $100 I made. Yes, you made $100 on the one book, but you spent $100 to get there. So, i.e., if I would have spent $100 on getting those Supergirl recalls, I would have 20 copies. 20 copies times 65 is big time money. So that's the point I'm trying to make with these girly girl covers and whatnot. Is yes, they go up from $100 to $200, but you could have had, you know, 20 copies of Supergirl a recall and made way more money, and there's a better chance of it being worth something down the road. So anyway, we'll go to the scoreboard later, but first off, we'll see what poop is coming out this week. So let's go through the list, and this is brought to you by Key Collector app. The first one on the list was Psycho List number 1, and that is a pick by Jim Comics. He's been picking some brutal ones lately, so you may want to avoid, but you know, he has to pick something, so I think this is just what he picks. So, you know, give credit to Jim. You can't pick a home run every time when there's no home runs to pick, right? So you got that one. There's the Powers of X, number 3, and that's a secret variant. Seems to be the one that people want. Don't know why this is considered hot because of this, but apparently Wolverine in the future is actually James Howlett. That's the big kicker in this book. Whoop-de-fucking-do. Anyway, the next one is, let me see here. We have Captain Marvel number 8, and that is the second print, and we have Star on the cover, so that's something we might want to consider. Right, so we have Pretty Violent number 1. We have a whole, you know, as we always do, the indies are producing number 1s, and everyone wants the number 1s. They're all running to get the number 1s, no matter what it is. You could put a piece of dog crap on the cover and call it dog crap number 1. As long as it's an indie, people are going to think it's optioned and whatnot and grab it. So there we are. We have Pretty Violent number 1. If you want Needless Violence, that's the one to get. Planet Caravan, don't know much about it, but that's a number 1 by an indie. Let the good times roll. We have a first app here with Savage Dragon 245, first appearance of Chain Man. When Savage Dragon first appearance isn't worth much, I highly doubt this Chain Man will be worth much either. This is interesting. This is Stray number 1 if you love cats. We all love cats. The whole fucking world loves cats. And this is about a girl and a cat who take on the government. So, yeah, that's interesting. Quite the cover, too. Ghost Spider number 1. This is the first solo series by Gwen Stacy, or Spider Gwen. I don't know, but yeah, Gwen. So there you go. So that's a big one there. So that's exciting too. So what were our picks? Well, Bruce Wayne's going with Captain Marvel 8 only because it is a first appearance on the cover of Star. She was hot in the first print. However, I find it odd that they didn't do a 125 with her on the cover. Like, this is just a regular comic with the character. That just seems too good to be true for Marvel. So that makes me think that this character is done, or Marvel really fucked up because they could have made more money forcing them to buy the regular poop covers just so they can get the 125 with her on the cover. But they didn't do that, so something's fishy going on. So yeah. But I'm going with that one because really nothing else seems to interest me. And we have Sheldon, who's going with Psycho List number 1. That's the Jim Comics pick as well. That's apparently about an FBI agent who becomes a therapist. And then we have 2 of our reporters pick the same book this week. Powers of X3, the secret variant. They think this one's going to be a good one, or at least the less evil of the list. And again, this is considered hot because Wolverine in the future is James Howlett. If you could explain to me what the fuck that means, I would love to hear from you. Thank you so much. So there you have it. All right, well, thank you very much, everyone. I hope you have a good Comic Book Wednesday. I hope you get all the crap you can possibly get and be thankful for it and happy and bring it back home and look at it and read it and woo-wee gazooey. Let the good times roll. So thanks again for watching. Have a good one. Bye-bye.